Our visit to Lake Bled was so much better than I'd hoped. It is a truly spectacular part of the world. We just couldn't believe how beautiful it was. The turquoise colour of the water, the gorgeous green trees, the snow-capped mountains, the wooden boats, the boardwalks, just everything. We will give you advice about the best things to do and where to go, the best day trips to take, and also where to stay. There is one experience that everyone does, but really is a bit overrated, and you can totally miss it if you are short on time. Then, oh my gosh, if you think Lake Bled is stunning, then wait till you hear about our visit to Vintgar Gorge. This is a 1.6 kilometre wooden boardwalk that clings to the edge of 50 to 100 metre sheer cliffs and takes you over the rapids and the waterholes all the way to the biggest waterfall in Slovenia. I have to say, this is one of my favourite things that I've ever done. I'm trying not to exaggerate, but it was absolutely incredible. I want you to do me a favour though and go to the episode description on the player you're listening on now and click the link to the webpage for episode 106 to see all the photos and then you'll know exactly what I mean. So please enjoy episode 106, all about the stunning Lake Bled in Slovenia. Hello Lyle, how are you today?
Good afternoon, Leonita.
Yes, we are recording in the afternoon as we sit here once again somewhere in Europe. So today though, I'm so excited about this one. Episode 106, we are bringing you, oh my gosh, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, even in the rain, and that's Lake Bled in the little township of Bled, and another beautiful place that we went to that we're going to chat about in a minute. So,
Are you going to tell the folks about
our
drive to Lake Bled?
Yeah, we should talk about that. So, not to take away from the travel podcast that we're going to tell you about, but we did have a bit of a funny trip leaving Ljubljana, and we got a sort of a shuttle bus thing, and we were picked up from the bus station, a little special spot there, and it was like a van more than a bus, wasn't it? And we were the last two people. The van was already full, and I was doing a bit of a panic because we had suitcases that they said were bigger than what they should be, and
they gave us measurements in their instructions,
I know.
and Lands was just that little bit bigger.
Way too big, actually.
Well, yeah, but anyway, we were really concerned about that. But when the gentleman, the driver, came and got our suitcases, he didn't take any notice.
No. He actually got a big bloke, got out and chucked them in the back of the car, and we opted only two seats left were in the front seat.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the middle and you were on the outside. And and off we went, and we were going via the airport.
Yeah.
And he said to us, when we get to airport, you will hop in back.
Yeah. And we've nicknamed him Victor.
Yeah, because we couldn't remember his name.
No,
yeah. And we started driving along, and he's playing his music, which happened to be, we were just driving along, Teddy Swims.
Yep, was, and we were actually singing along with him, and he's saying, "You like this music?"
We told him that we'd seen Teddy Swims.
Yeah.
And so then he was taking his eyes off the road, trying to find other songs on his playlist to play for us. Anyway, we've got a bit of a selection on the way to the airport. Once we got to the airport,
but during that, but one of the songs he played, which was a local singer.
That was after we left the airport.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't, because the people were in the back that got out at the airport. He said to them, "I hope you like the music," and it was that. I don't know whether what Paranoid singer, and every second word with it in the song was F this and F that.
Okay, yeah.
And anyway. I'm thinking to myself, man, imagine if your employers knew that you were playing this shit,
It was a pretty wild song, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And he played some Teddy Swims and Metallica.
Oh, it was unbelievable. He said since 1980. He said, I have everything.
Yeah.
And anyway,
2,000 minutes or something. Anyway, we stopped at the airport. As we said, let everyone else out. It was only us left in the bus, and so I've undone my seatbelt, ready to hop out. And he's just come back around the front and hopped back in and taken off again. So
he wanted some singing buddies.
Yeah, so he obviously liked our company. So I'm like, okay. So we're driving down the highway where it says 110. He's doing 140. He's still searching through his songs, and he's going around some corners, and I've sort of got nowhere to hang on to except Lyle's leg. So I've grabbed Lyle's leg, and Lyle's gone, "Oh, happy
Oh, God,
birthday!"
oh, happy birthday! Oh, this is all right.
And what did Victor say?
Victor's turning around and said, "Oh, don't squeeze too tight."
Which cracked us up, and we're like, "Oh
And
my God!"
he thought it was funny too.
Yes, and then he started talking about where he wanted to travel to, and his top list was on top of his list was Japan.
Correct.
Because he likes anime, and he asked you, "Do you know anime?" And
I had no idea what anime was.
It was
and
just,
I'm still not sure, but go
it's
on.
just Japanese animation.
Okay.
Yeah. And so
Then he got more specific.
then he said, I also like, I should have written down what it was. Now I don't even know what it was. I think it started with H. And what it was is
Comic porn.
Japanese, animated porn again. So so he's sort of having a chuckle to himself, and Lyle and I are starting to think, oh my gosh, he's locked us in the front. He's talking about porn.
He's about 6'8".
We're heading 140 k's down the highway. We assume we're going the right way. He's playing these weird songs. So we're just, oh my gosh. And then he says,
I thought he was going to kidnap us.
And then he says, I come from the mountains.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's telling us he came from the mountains, and we're thinking, next thing we can hear is the banjos that
start to play.
And
you know what? We were totally misjudged him. We were totally unfair because he asked us exactly where we were staying in Bled.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? No, I didn't. And I told him, and he took us. He was supposed to drop us at the bus station, which was like an 800-metre walk for us with our suitcases. He dropped us right at the front door of our accommodation. So thanks, Victor.
Yes, thanks to Victor.
All right, let's get back to the current programming.
Okay, so tell everybody about the Lubbock Hotel.
Okay, so we're staying right in Bled at Hotel Lubbock, and we were able to check straight in. We're on the 4th floor. We walk in the room and open up the doors to the balcony, and there is Lake Bled. There's a couple of rooms in front, but there's Lake Bled, and there's the Bled Island in the middle with the church on it, and that's the first thing I see, and the castle up to the right, Bled Castle. So I was just like gobsmacked. I was so happy. I've been wanting to go to Lake Bled for many years since, once again, my daughter and son-in-law went, and I'd always wanted to go. It was a magic place. We had a tour booked last year, got cancelled. I was devastated from Italy.
Devastated was an understatement.
I was cranky.
Pissed off, I would have said.
So we had 2 nights in Bled, and I was just so happy.
I did say to you that because we, if we had had a day trip to Lake Bled, we wouldn't have stayed the 2 days this time. So in actual fact, it was a bit of a blessing.
Worked out well. So hotel's great buffet breakfast. They even serve champagne with breakfast. They have a restaurant called The Grill. The staff are wonderful. They give you out maps and umbrellas at reception. They organise some transport if you need it. There was a heated indoor pool, 3 different saunas, jacuzzi, showers, and our rooms got the bathrobes and the slippers. So it was a wonderful experience.
They actually had a bar at the pool, but it wasn't open.
Yeah, and we can walk basically down the stairs. There's a little mini market, so we could stock up on some supplies and some cheap wine. And then we cross the road, down a few stairs, and we are on Lake Bled. Yes?
Yeah.
So that was just incredible. So we arrived around lunchtime, and we decided we were going to go for a little bit of a walk. It was raining. Oh, not heavy though, just light rain. It was so still. There wasn't a breath of wind.
Yeah.
And we are starting from right sort of in the main part of town, and we did just start walking sort of anti-clockwise around the lake. And I sort of didn't think we were going to do the whole thing that day, but we kept going, and they said it was 6 kilometres around, and by the time I got back it said we'd done 12 kilometres.
Yeah, that was a bit weird.
Bit weird.
Just a bit of info on the size of Lake Bled. It's 2,120 metres or 6,960 feet long. It's 1,380 metres wide or 4,530 feet wide. A maximum depth is 29.5 metres or 97 feet. And as Leanne said, it's about 6 hours walking track.
6 kilometres.
6 kilometres. They say hour and 30. We took much longer than that. But we've got to remember, and as we all know, Lan doesn't mind taking a photo. So, and I don't think Lan's ever taken more photos per square metre since I've known her.
It was
However, in saying that, what's the thing about Lake Bled that you love?
the colours.
Yeah.
It just, even in the grey skies and the rain, it was just the most incredible turquoise blue colour you've ever seen. The trees around the edge of the lake are just lime green and bottle green, is every colour green, and the grass around it, just the what is it between the green and the blue. It's just absolutely beautiful. Everywhere you look, there was not a place that wasn't pristine, that took your breath away. I've never seen anything
It
like
was
this
almost
place.
like the colours were artificial.
It was just spectacular.
You can't describe it, and I had I've got to admit I had never heard of Lake Bled until Leanne had mentioned it to me, and of course you look up the place on the internet, and there's also lots of YouTube
Videos.
that you can have a look at, and you look at the YouTube and you can't believe it. Multiply that by 100 when you're actually there.
Yeah.
It's just, as I said, it just feels like the colors aren't real. But just to explain what happens is that during in this area, it's mainly grey and
White.
white limestone. And so what happens is the base of the actual lake, that's what it is. So when the sun reflects off the white and grey limestone, it just, as Leanne said, this most incredible turquoise blue colour.
And so we kept walking, because everywhere you went, there was another little spot to take another photo, and then another spot to take another photo, and then another spot to take another photo. And
Yeah, as I said,
and on
the most square photos per square metre ever.
and as we first started, there's Bled Castle up on the sheer cliff as well.
And that's about 130 metres up, and it's
Yeah.
as you say, it's sheer.
Yes.
And the castle looks like it's right on the edge of it.
And also around the edge of the lake are the little wooden boats, the pletners, that are all docked up, the ones that weren't being used, but the timber and just the colour of those.
I would call them
Yes.
the equivalent of the Venetian gondolas.
Sure. So we kept walking, get halfway around the lake, and there's some jetties that seem to be floating on the water, and they are at the Olympic Rowing Centre, which they have. So that's one of the things that you see on the lake. If you're there early morning or late afternoon, the Olympic rowing team training. We saw them every morning and every afternoon, and so you can actually go to that centre. They've got a cafe there and everything. But when you go there and there's nobody training, there's 3 or 4 jetties that go out, and that's where you get the most amazing photos with Bled Island in the background. So then we keep walking, and there's it's gone from a path now into a wooden boardwalk, which is floating over the top of the water as well. So it curves around under the trees, and you've got the water, like right under your feet. You're ducking to miss the beautiful weeping trees hanging over, and it's just magical. And you keep going, and more photos, and just taking in the views. And as you're going, you're getting a different view of the church on top of Bled Island the whole way as well. And when you get round to the side, sort of 3/4 of the way round, you look back at Bled Island, and you will see the church and the stairs that we're going to tell you about in a minute. But that's probably the best view for taking a photo, because then you've got the island, you've got the stairs, you've got the church, and in the background you've got Bled Castle. So now I've got some beautiful photos like Lyle's been talking about, and they're on our website at beachtravelwine.com, episode 106, and I've got the photo I've just described to you, the Pletner boats. I've got all that sort of, honestly, just stunning. Then we walk back into town. Yes, and there was a little bit of roadworks going on, and there was a few big puddles, and we got a bit splashed by some of the
passing traffic.
Yeah, but we did have our wet weather gear on, so it didn't really matter.
But to give the people from Bled,
some of them slowed down.
Some of them credit, they actually while they were passing us, they were actually trying to avoid the puddles. So it must be a thing there.
Yeah, it might
But
be.
not everybody.
Not everybody did. It's the coffee shower. It's one of the guides told us somewhere else. I
Yeah,
can't remember where that was.
Ljubljana.
So the walk around that afternoon just blew my mind. It was everything and more that I thought Lake Bled would be, and I just loved it. I loved everything about it.
And I think that probably one of the things that really stood out to me was the peacefulness.
We only saw maybe half a dozen other people
Yeah.
doing this, and we actually ran into a local guy and his girlfriend, and he was chatting to us about the lake and that sort of stuff too. So it was magical. And then we decided everyone talks about the Kremnitzer cake from Lake Bled, right? They do. It's in other places as well, but a lot of people claim that it was theirs, but Lake Bled apparently is where it's most famous. And so we went to a cafe, the Carven Cafe.
We did.
Right on the water. Once again, I'm looking to the left, there's Bled Island, and just to the right is Bled Castle up on the hill. And I'm having a beautiful glass of wine and this Kremnitzer cake, which is
Yes,
special
we had
too.
it was a little bit like McDonald's. It was a 2-for-1 price sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was the cake and a glass of wine for, I can't even remember what the price was.
But it doesn't matter.
But the wine was pretty average, and the cake, well,
we're not a fan. Like,
no.
It's very custardy, and the custard's very light, and I don't know. It's not up. I don't normally eat that sort of thing anyway, but I thought when in Bled.
Well, I'm very much a connoisseur of a French vanilla slice.
Yes.
I absolutely love them. The custard in the vanilla slice is much more solid. It's nice.
Yeah.
I ate it all. But
I was going to say, you did eat it all.
I think I had half of yours too.
Anyway, I was going to finish it. But you got to do it, right? So that was our afternoon. We went back and got ready for dinner, and we headed back down to a little restaurant. And I'm going to try and get a map with these places on them for you, or just reach out to me on Instagram at Beach Travel Wine. And if you want to see any of the videos that we're talking about today, Instagram Beach Travel Wine, up the top in the story highlights, click on Slovenia, and there you'll see our walk around the lake and some of the other things we're going to talk about in a minute. Now, dinner was at a newish Japanese restaurant. Was it Japanese?
Yeah, it was Japanese.
Basically right across from the
Carven
Cafe, because they're all close to where we stayed, and it was a bit rainy, and we don't want to be going too far. And
I think actually we went to the cafe, the Carven Cafe, for a refreshing ale first.
Okay.
And look, to be honest, you are paying for the location of the restaurant,
sure,
which is all fair and good because they're playing.
But there are cheaper places. There's Burger.
Well, there was one a street back where we went the night after, and it was probably half the price. But this particular restaurant, ARROI.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I had the sweet and sour pork, and
I had a red duck curry.
I'm not normally have that. I don't know why I had it. I just felt like something different, and it was spectacular. And Leanne had the red duck curry, and she loved that as well. Bit hot, you said.
Yep.
But very nice, and we had a very nice wine, the Malvasian again. And then we were buggered, so we went home to bed.
Right, we did. So next day we've got a whole day, right? And we decided that we were going to go on the boat ride to Bled Island on one of the Pletner boats. Now, we had a bit of a lazy morning because it was a buffet breakfast. I stuffed my pockets full of food again, and off we went down the stairs just across the road to the Pletner station, and we were the first. There was another couple there. Anyway, the guy said, yeah, we'll go. We just got to wait for a few more people. So I think we waited probably half an hour, and cost us €18 each.
Yep,
cash only. And off we went, and there was a couple of Aussies on there.
An old English couple that were lovely. They were from Yorkshire, I think.
Yeah, and it was quite a slow trip.
I remember the other guy that he lives in Australia.
Yeah, 84.
84.
Yeah, still travelling every year to Slovenia. He's got family in Slovenia, but he travels to Europe every year and drives. They drive and they just head off for the day and find where they're going to stay. So it was, we were blown away by that.
And what he was talking about on the way over, he was talking about their next trip to Europe next year.
Yeah.
84, amazing.
Yeah. So it was a nice boat ride out, but honestly, the weather wasn't 100% either. So it was a bit cooler. And then we arrived at Bled Island, which, as talked about, it's right in the middle. But it's got a bit of a story. Yeah,
Yes.
please. Yes, I
The
would.
main building is the pilgrimage church dedicated to the Assumption of Mary, built in its current form near the end of the 17th century. It is decorated with the remains of Gothic frescoes from around 1470 in the altar area and with rich Baroque furnishings. The church has a 52-metre or 171 feet tower, and there is a Baroque stairway dating from 1655 with 99 stone steps leading up to the building.
Okay, just stop there, because that's when you first get off the Pletna. There's like a dock where there's half a dozen other boats bringing people from it, and that the only way to get up the top is up those 99 stairs. Yeah? Yes.
Correct.
So that's what we did.
Yeah, and we thought 99 stairs. Look, it's easy.
It was so easy.
Yeah, yes.
If you don't want to go up, you don't have to. You can actually walk around the bottom of the island, which is probably no different to walking around the lake. But you go up the stairs, the 99 stairs.
Now, the role of the oarsman, this is for the Pletners, dates back to 1740 when Maria Theresa of Austria granted 20 local exclusive rights to ferry religious pilgrims across the lake to worship on Bled Island. Now, apparently, a lot of the current people that have got the franchises there or the rights there are descendants from those original people.
Yeah. So there's obviously more, but when we were there were two places to catch the boat. One in front of the casino, which is, I think, where people who go themselves or are staying in the accommodation tend to catch the Pletners. The other station is around a little bit where the day trippers come, and there's an area where they park the buses. So you can see the buses come, you see the boats go over and back from there. Now, we're probably going to say something a little controversial here, but...
Are we?
Yeah, we are. If you only have a day in Bled or doing a day trip, I guess if it's part of what you're paying for, then you have to do it. But we honestly think going to Bled Island is not necessary.
No.
There's nothing to the church. We didn't go in the church. It was €18 each to get there. I think it was another 13 to go inside. We just didn't think it was worth the money. And when you get there, there's nothing to do.
No, you could walk around the top of up there, I reckon, in 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes, and you have 45 minutes, and it was a bit wet, and it was a bit cold, and you can't get any better photos from there than you can from around the outside of the lake. So we're going to tell you, a couple of other things you could do instead. Now, we're not saying you shouldn't do it, but if you've got to make a choice, this is one that...
Probably the most interesting thing we did on Bled Island was probably have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it was a cup of tea.
Well, I enjoyed going out on the lake, but you didn't see anything that you can't see from walking around. That's my point. So it's certainly not a must-do, yeah?
Yep.
So let's talk about some other things you can do then. So Bled Castle, which overlooks the lake, that imposing building, as we said, up on the sheer cliff. You can go to Bled Castle and you can get beautiful views from up there because it overlooks the lake, right?
Yeah, it's 130 metres up the sheer face.
You can walk up. There's a few different ways to walk up.
Yeah. Now, it's open 7 days, and at this point in time, adults are €17 and seniors $14.
And just quickly, you can go up at night. It doesn't close and it lights up nicely. So if you've got a full day and you've missed out on Bled Castle, you can do it later in the day.
Yeah, now the castle has a 1,000-year history. According to written sources, it is the oldest Slovenian church. It was first...
Oh, the oldest in Slovenia?
Yep.
Ah, okay.
It was why would you build the first
the oldest
church 130 metres?
Was it a church?
Yeah, and on a cliff.
Is it a church or a castle? Both.
Oh, castle, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's a...
church in there.
There's a chapel in there. Yeah, but why would you build... Anyway...
Because you had people to do it for you?
Yeah, okay. So it was first mentioned in a deed of donation issued by Emperor Henry II to Bishop of Brixton on May 22, 1011.
Wow.
The oldest part of the castle is Romanesque tower. In the Middle Ages, more towers were built and fortification improved. Other buildings were constructed in Renaissance style. The buildings are arranged around 2 courtyards, which are connected with a staircase. There is a chapel in the upper courtyard, which was built in the 16th century, and it was renovated around 1700.
It has a drawbridge too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and a moat, but the moat's filled in.
And it's €17 to get in.
Yep.
You don't have to pay to go in and see everything. You can just walk around and get the views.
Yeah, look, it's about a 10-minute walk.
Uphill, though.
Yeah, a moderate hill. Yep. Cars and buses can drive up and park at the back of the castle.
And then there's still a little bit of a walk, but nowhere near that. So that's certainly something to do.
I'd certainly recommend that before I'd go to Bled Island.
Sure. And as I said, you can do it late, and it's also beautiful at night from the lake, looking up at it. I've got some nice photos as the sun went down, and then later as it was lit up. Yeah, it was pretty spectacular for sure. Yeah. All right, let's get excited. Are you?
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh my gosh!
And I hadn't heard of this place either.
So you thought I was in love with Lake Bled? Oh, and I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I don't care. We went to Vintgar Gorge.
Yep.
And it was amazing. Now, once again, my daughter had been. She'd shown me some photos years ago. It's a little bit out of town, but we had an afternoon to fill in, and it was a bit foggy and a bit wet, and what are we going to do? And so, well, you know what? We'll go out to the gorge. We got a shuttle bus. We just walked into this shop that they'd shuttle to Vintgar Gorge. We got straight on a shuttle, and off we went. It wasn't that far. It's about 4 k's out of town.
Yep, correct.
And we had to buy our tickets online, so we did that on my phone.
So they were €10.
Were they?
Per person, yeah.
Oh, that's worth the price of admission. And we got the shuttle. Well, it takes you right to the beginning, and there's a timing thing. So I think we were going in at 1:20, and there's turnstiles, and you've got to zap yourself in, and you've got to put on a hairnet and a helmet. And other people who'd been to Vintgar Gorge previously saw the photos, and they're like, "What are you doing? Why are you wearing a helmet?" We had no choice. It's compulsory, and we believe it's because of maybe falling rocks. But off we head, off in we've got our raincoats on, we've got an umbrella, we've got our orange helmets on. We look a sight, and we head off on this absolutely spectacular, amazing walk, 1.6 kilometres along Vintgar Gorge. Now, just so you know, there's a walkway, a wooden boardwalk, which basically clings to the side of 50 to 100 metre sheer cliffs.
Yeah, 50 to 100
the whole way along this 1.6 kilometres.
And there's about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 bridges
at least
crisscross.
At least, and sometimes you're going over rapids, you're going over waterfalls, or you're just going at the water's as still, and you can see to the bottom. There's the trees on the side of the cliffs. It is every little corner you went round, little walkway that you went down. It was amazing. I loved every single inch of this walk.
Well, I got to tell you, you must have, because there is no way you would have normally done that without it being as spectacular as it is, because it was
high. It was bridges. I don't even like bridges.
It was everything Leanne doesn't like, but she was just captivated by it, and so was I. It was just, I've never seen anything like it.
You have to go and look at the pictures. Honestly, the link is in the podcast description on the player you're listening on now to episode 106. Click on it, please. Go and check out the pictures. Just scroll down. All you got to do is go and have a look at those pictures. You'll know exactly what I mean. You're going to want to go there. And the pictures about Lake Bled, the castle, and the island are all there too. And if you really want to see what it was really like, as well as the pictures, Instagram, Beach Travel Wine, Story Highlights, Slovenia. You won't be sorry. I keep watching them every day. I freaking love this walk. I was buzzing.
You cleaned that up to what you said to me about it. But anyway, look, it's carved. Look, it's glacial for a start, obviously. Right, okay. It's carved by the Radovna River. The stream has created many erosive features such as pools, rapids, and it terminates in the picturesque 13-metre or 43-foot Sum,
Yep.
S-U-M, falls. Literally, that means noisy falls. The largest river fall in Slovenia.
So when you come to the end of the gorge, there's a cafe there with another bridge, and you can go down the bottom to see, of those falls. Yeah, and that's where the
Yeah.
walk terminates, or the gorge finishes. Yeah.
And once again, we've discovered how the Slovenian authorities must have been right into their tourism very early in the piece, because in 1893, the gorge was equipped with wooden observation walkways and bridges and was open to the public on August 26, 1893.
Yeah.
And that was around when the caves
In our previous episode, the
the Postojna caves were first opened. So, yeah, look, do yourself a favour. If you ever get the chance to do it, I highly recommend.
Loved it. We loved everything. And I'll put some links to as well in the webpage to where you can go and have a look at the official website and maybe get tickets if you're going to do that. Now, there's a few other things that you can do. That was sort of our full days. We then went back to our heated swimming pool and took some time to relax before heading to a pizza place, cheap and cheerful place for dinner.
And that was the Devil Cafe.
Yeah.
And look, we just had a pizza. It was really reasonable
cash
price.
only, just so
yeah,
you know.
Again, that was a cash only.
Yeah.
And that was basically just over the road from the more expensive cafe. And we had a pizza. It was great.
Now there's another lake that's even bigger than Bled.
It's actually the biggest lake in Slovenia.
And you know what? It's not as well known, and this is another place that you need to put on your list if you have the time. And it's called Bohin. I think we might get the pronunciation.
Okay, I'll just spell it. It's Bohinj.
Yeah, and it's only 27 kilometres from Bled, but you can catch a cable car from the lake up to the Julian Alps, where they do winter skiing there. Yeah, so it's pretty amazing. And the Julian Alps is
1,535
meters high. Yeah, and you can get a bus there from Bled. It goes all day, all day on the hour, isn't it?
It runs every day on the hour. And so it takes about 40 minutes.
They don't have all the infrastructure.
It's definitely not as touristy as Bled, but it is bigger. It is 4.35 kilometres or 2.7 miles in length. So it's twice the length of Lake Bled. The width is 1 kilometre or 0.62 mile. The maximum depth is, I can't say that. The maximum depth, I must be getting thirsty, 45 metres or 148 feet.
So put that on your itinerary. Now, I want to talk about just some other little things that you can do. But what I'd like to do, though, is I know most people who go to Bled go there as a day trip, right? And I totally understand if that's all you've got to do, then that's fine. But we would highly encourage you. We only had 2 nights and we would have loved a third, at least one more night there. There is so much to do there, and it is the things that you see early in the morning and also late at night when the tour buses go home. So if you're just doing a day trip, you miss out. As I said, you see the Olympic rowers right there practicing. You see them come right up to the edge and turn around and go back there with singles and doubles and the teams, and that's worth watching. You see the sunset, you see the castle light up, you just see the stillness of come over the lake at night. It's just absolutely magical.
Well, when we were there, it wasn't that busy.
No, it's not busy. I'm not saying it's better when the tour buses go. I'm saying that if you're on a tour bus, you're going to miss these things.
Sure.
So the things that you see after the tour bus is gone it's just much more quiet, much more relaxed, and you just get to see the lake go to sleep at night almost. It's magical. It's beautiful. And certainly going around the lake early in the morning is a special thing to do too. So just think about that if you're planning a trip to Slovenia and everyone says do a day trip. Honestly, get yourself there for at least 2-3 nights if you can, and then you can do all these things, because some of the other things, and we've given you the highlights, but Bled, you can do canyoning. which you get into a wetsuit and you slide down waterfalls.
Oh,
Right? Zip lining, like there's like a luge car. You can see it on the hill. You can come down one of those cars, and there's a zip line there as well. Whitewater rafting. We talked to a young Australian couple this morning who just had done the whitewater rafting, and they just loved it on the river. Michaela and my daughter and her husband, they did the whitewater rafting as well. There's a lot of action things, isn't there? You said there's hot air ballooning.
There is hot air ballooning.
Yeah, you tell me that now.
Yeah, I was just saying. I was actually quite glad that I only mentioned that to Leanne today, because I thought that could have been an expensive. There's also mountain bike.
Yeah, all
that's very big.
And there's many hikes as well.
There's actually mountain climbing, and they actually do. They have.
They teach you, don't they?
Yeah, they have. They even have mountain climbing kindergarten.
Yeah, okay.
So, but they do suggest, if you are going to climb Mount Triglav, which is the national park that it's in, they strongly recommend hiring qualified mountain guides. Anne and I just ran out of time. Otherwise, we would have been. No, we wouldn't have done that. That's not our go.
Once again, the young Aussie couple we spoke to this morning, they did a hike sort of up the other side opposite Bled Castle, and it was quite high, they said, and they had amazing views back over the lake to the castle. There's a whole map they give out on the different hikes you can do there. So, yeah, please, if you're going to come, take your time.
And obviously, there's snow skiing
in winter.
Yeah. So the whole package.
And swimming, you can swim. There's areas around the lake where you can actually swim.
You can. And especially, obviously, in the warmer months, that'd be the thing to do.
Yeah, they've got closed-in areas, and there's villas that you can book, private villas. The ex or the old Yugoslavian communist leader, Tito.
Oh, that's right, Tito. Yeah,
he had two. Apparently he had lots of villas, but he had two of them on Lake Bled.
And one of them now is a 5-star hotel.
Luxury hotel, yeah.
And it is huge.
There was a putt-putt golf we didn't get time to go to. We didn't even get to look in any shops or,
Leanne, it's not that we didn't have time to do putt-putt golf. I'm sick of getting beat, so I just didn't even want to go there. You said, oh, there it is, and I went, no way.
But check out your accommodation. The one we had, as I said, Hotel Lovick, was just across the road from the main area, and then a short walk to the lake. There are hotels that have balconies that look directly over the lake with nothing in front of them. There's some cheaper accommodation around as well. So just whatever you need to do to get yourself there, do it, I reckon. I would recommend.
Sure. So I'd sort of say that think of probably the most beautiful natural environment you've ever seen, and I pretty much guarantee Lake Bled's going to beat it.
And you really need to like the colours blue and green.
Because they say that should be seen together.
Only in nature. Blue and green. That's what one of my school teachers used to say. Anyway, Lyle, it's come to that time. Where was your favourite place to have a glass of wine in Bled?
I'd say at Arvin, the restaurant right on the lake. Yeah, it was like you couldn't get better. You pretty much on the water.
Yeah.
We did it. We had a drink there in the afternoon, so we just sat back and watched the rowers do their thing, and of course you've just got that the turquoise, and it's so peaceful. The rain had stopped. There was no wind. It was quite still. It was beautiful.
Yeah. I would have to agree with you. However, I'm going to say, even though we didn't have one there, I would have liked to, and it would have been my favourite place, at the cafe at the end of the Gorge walk. That would have been a nice spot for a glass of wine.
Oh, yeah. Right sitting above the waterfall.
Yeah, and what we didn't say is we then had to walk through the forest.
Oh, yeah, I do.
To get back to our shuttle bus. We walked uphill, we walked downhill, we walked through creeks, and we walked past the cows with the bells around their neck.
Actually, it was a beautiful walk. It was, but there was a little bit of concern. Well, I never said anything to Leanne, but in this area, you are likely to see brown bears,
black bears,
bobcats, and I'm thinking to myself, I hope something doesn't come.
Anyway, there's lots of beautiful countryside. So, yeah, I would have loved to have sat there if we weren't meeting our shuttle bus back and having a glass of wine, watching that right above the highest waterfall in Slovenia. Would have been wonderful. Well, thank you for listening. As you can tell, we absolutely loved Loved Bled, Lake Bled, the Gorge, everything about this place. And promise me you'll go and have a look at the photos on episode 106, beachtravelwine.com. The link is in the play you're listening on now. All you got to do is go where you're listening and click that link, and it'll take you straight there to check out those photos. Instagram, Beach Travel Wine, up the top, story highlights, Slovenia. It's all there. Can't miss it.
Perfecto.
All right, we're back next week.
Yes.
We're moving countries.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Beach Travel Wine podcast.
Yeah, see you later.